Anyway, moving on. I don't know geography or anything like that, but I do know that more Texas families with trans kids plan to flee the state, which I guess would probably mean that I would need a little bit of geography knowledge, but we're gonna wing it. Okay. We need to fuse the Virginias. Yes, I think so. We should call it Grand Virginia. Grand Virginia. I would like that. Fuse the Dakotas too? Yeah, Grand Dakota too. Yeah, let's do it. And the Carolinas, Grand Carolina. Yes, I'm so excited for this. We'll be down to 47 states before you know it. I can't fight offensively when I'm already down on the ground, just trying to fend people off of my kids, one Austin mom said. I'd rather have a trans kid than a dead one. Oh, that hits me deep. That hits me real deep. Texas transgender young people, their loved ones, and family members rally at the state capitol in Austin to decry Governor Greg Abbott's directive that state health agencies should investigate gender-affirming medical care as child abuse on March 1st. Is that an ocarina around that person's neck? Is that a fucking ocarina? I'm gonna pog so hard. I'm gonna pog so hard if that's a fucking ocarina. I'm pogging. Oh, it's an ocarina. It's so fucking cool. I love that. Oh! Okay. By the way, I pointed this out to Ashley last night, but I noticed that all these articles are written by Joe Yerkaba. Joe Yerkaba. And so I linked Ashley to a page where we can find all of their articles. So I'm going to put that link in the chat right now. I've got this bookmarked. If any of you would like to bookmark it as well, it's a great place to keep up on trans news stories. Pretty much the topics that I've covered here today and the topics that I covered last week all could be found there on the website. So if you're interested in bookmarking that, go ahead and do that. Definitely going to have a lot more coming up. All right. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get started on this article. Just a month ago, Katie, a Texas mom, had no plans to leave her home. Even after Governor Greg Abbott urged Texans in February to report cases of minors receiving gender-affirming care, Katie, who has a 15-year-old transgender son and knew she could be investigated, planned to stay and fight. But things started to change for Katie when the Texas Children's Hospital announced last month that it would pause gender-affirming services for minors in light of the directive. Her son lost access to his care program for 3 weeks until a judge paused the state's investigations. 3 weeks without hormones. Have any of you ever seen Orange is the New Black? Any of you ever seen it? So there is a character in Orange is the New Black. Orange is the New Black is a show that follows a bunch of inmates at a jail or a prison or something like that. And Laverne Cox plays a transgender inmate. And in part of the show, one of the plot points is that her character loses access to her hormones. She gets put in solitary confinement. The officers refuse to give her her hormones. And at a point, they seemingly forget about her. They seemingly forget that she's even down there. And yeah, it's not pretty. They go into detail about what this does to trans people. and it's not great. It doesn't just affect you physically, okay? Not being on hormones for 3 weeks, after being on hormones for years prior, yeah, I'd have physical changes. I'd probably have like maybe some thicker hair. I don't know about that since I've had laser. I would probably have like a little bit more aggression and stuff, but more than anything, it would change my mental state so much. It would change my mindset entirely. I would feel so outside of who I am. Yeah, my emotions would be so out of whack. It would be like getting hit by a truck. Yes, it would. So yeah, they showed that on Orange is the New Black, and it's not great. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and give it a watch. It's a long one. Each of the episodes is like an hour long, but it's really good. I started that show, and by the time I ended it, I was trans. So, if that tells you anything. If I go off hormones for a couple days, it destroys me. Literally, one of my worst weeks was when I was out of state and needed HRT. Yeah. I'm glad I get to be on injections, and I only have to do that like once a week, you know? I'm thankful for that. Seriously. I'm honestly thankful for that. That just really shook me, said Katie, who asked that their full name not be published to protect her family's privacy. The things that you would never think would happen are somehow reality, and I can't live with the uncertainty. It's eating us up. A spokesperson for the Children's Hospital said in an email that the hospital remains deeply committed to our transgender and gender-diverse patients and will continue to monitor the ongoing legal proceedings in determining how best to proceed. Oh, hi, Daisy. Hydrate, huh? You need to get on injections really badly? Yeah. I would encourage that. I've enjoyed my injections, actually. I look forward to my injection day. I don't know. I just like the way it feels. Heavily recommend having 3 months extra if you can afford it. Yeah. Once you move out, we're getting you on injections. Yes, we are. And Lucy, too. Okay? We're doing both of them. And if you're scared of needles, don't worry. I'll do them for you, okay? It'll be okay. I'll ring the little HRT bell, and all the trans femmes will come running in from the pastures. Yeah, it's going to be great. Deathly afraid of blood, though? Oh, yeah. No, I get that. If you can have Gwen or somebody help you with the injection, that would be great. And of course, I'm happy to help you too. If you like have nobody else there and you need me to run over and help you with it, I'm happy to do that. Okay. Blood doesn't bother me. Needles don't bother me. I'm happy to just have you turn your head and look the other way while I take it. Auto injectors? Okay, Nizzy. What is this that you're talking about? What is an auto injector? Is there like a 3D printer or something that we can set up? Did you watch that Michael Reeves video where it picks like the tomatoes out of the salad? Is there something like that, like a big metal piston spike that injects HRT? That would be amazing. Like a hypo spray? Ooh. Oh, like the one where it like shotguns the fucking shit into your... Oh, I've seen those where you just like stick it there and oh yeah, it's like an EpiPen. See? That's smart. That's smart. That's the future of HRT right there. That's the future of HRT. They are more prone to bleeding, that's true. That's true. But you could get a giant ass Pokemon Band-Aid, slap that bitch on there, you're good to go. You're good to go. What? Shay uses one? Are you kidding me? Okay, I have to talk to Shay about this, okay? I'm going to get an interview with Shay and we're going to talk about auto injectors, all right? It is smart, yeah. Yeah, Daisy, don't worry. You don't have to look at it. Don't worry. I got you covered. Yeah, Mudkip Band-Aids. Oh, Whooper Band-Aids. Pog. All right. A spokesperson for the Texas Children's Hospital said in an email that the hospital remains deeply committed to our transgender and gender diverse patients and will continue to monitor the ongoing legal proceedings in determining how best to proceed. Her son's initial loss of gender-affirming care was the turning point for Katie and her family. Katie decided that after her son finishes 10th grade this summer, the family would move to Denver. Yo! Dab! Colorado-based! I'm pogging and dabbing and doing all of it today. Piplup Band-Aids, yes, yes. Ditto Band-Aids, I'm down for that too. Everyone's coming here. Yeah, I know, this is a place to be. Come on. Get everybody in here. Let's get Shoe on Head in here. All right. Moving to Denver! Denver! All the trans people are moving to Denver. We got Daisy, we got Lucy, we got tons of other people moving up here. It's great. It's great. It's great. Yo, do it! Alana, move to Denver. Well, you don't have to move to Denver. Just move to Colorado. Move near us. Hi, Jordan. Yeah, that's right. Okay, her son in... Oh, is that the Pokemon guy? Her son's the Pokemon guy. No way. Buy my house so I could move. Hey, you know what? I actually am in the market for a house, but I just don't have the money to buy it, so. In the king of Team Plasma? Yeah, I know! My mic might be peaking a little. Yeah, I am sorry. How's, is that okay? Is that, am I still peaking? Is this loud enough to pick it up? I'm not like, you're not like missing words or anything, am I? Okay. If game open in the background, it's a bit quiet. Oh my god. Maybe turn it up a little more. Okay, is this okay? 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 Bigger house with a big backyard for Riley. Yeah, I get that. Riley's a big boy. He needs a big backyard. What a floofer. Okay. In has been doing the best he can to stay positive about it. It's hard to stay in one piece and not break down on everything. Yeah. But his heart is broken, she said. We're leaving Texas temporarily on our terms with the hope and prayer that come November, we're going to get to come back home and it will be a joyous homecoming. Last month, NBC News spoke to a dozen patients of transgender children, parents, not patients, as well as to trans teens following Abbott's directive. At the time, only one of those families had planned to move. Now 3, including Katie's family, had said they will leave the state. The 3 families who are departing said they didn't make their decisions overnight, but they had watched Texas officials become increasingly bold in targeting transgender people in recent years. In 2015, the state began to consider a bathroom bill that would have banned transgender people from using public and school restrooms that aligned with their gender identity. Since then, the legislature has ramped up its efforts. Last year, it considered more than 50 bills targeting transgender people. Only one made it to Abbott for a signature, a bill that bars transgender students from playing on school sports teams that aligned with their gender identity. But one of the other failed bills prompted an opinion from State Attorney General Ken Paxton, who declared on February 21st that gender-affirming medical care such as puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery cause irreparable harm to minors and were child abuse under Texas law. Abbott followed with his directive to the state's Department of Family and Protective Services the following day. I'll do everything I can to protect against those who take advantage of and harm young Texans, Paxton said at the time, arguing in his opinion that minors cannot consent to gender-affirming medical care. Now, hang on just a darn minute here. if minors can consent to not wear a mask. I'm sorry. Minors then should be able to consent to HRT. It's just that simple. I'm really trying, okay? I know I've been cursing like a sailor already. I'm trying to keep it PG-13 a little bit. I get like 1 or 2 F-bombs or something like that a stream. Minors can't consent to hormones, then everyone needs hormone blockers, right? Really makes you think, doesn't it? It really gets that brain going. He has since taken several actions to defend and double down on his position. He appealed both injunctions issued by judges, a narrow injunction on March 2nd that paused one of the state's investigations into a Child Protective Services employee, and a statewide one issued March 11th that paused all investigations. An appeals court reinstated the statewide injunction, and it remains in place. Thank you, Clara. As a sailor, I think you have a long way to go before you catch up with us. Hey, I've got 32 years of cursing under my belt already. You've no idea the words that I've said to people. Paxton also filed investigative demands on March 24th against 2 pharmaceutical companies, Indo Pharmaceuticals, and AbbVie Inc., alleging that they advertised their products as treatment for gender dysphoria rather than the medical conditions that they were approved to treat. Isn't that a medical condition? I thought it was. The efforts from Paxton, Abbott, and the state legislature have had widespread effects. The Children's Medical Center in Dallas removed all references to Genesis, its gender-affirming care program for minors, from its website in November and said the program would no longer take new patients. Last month, 850 doctors, medical students, and employees at 2 Dallas hospitals signed a petition opposing the decision. Paxton has also tweeted about transgender people, even repeatedly misgendering Dr. Rachel Levine, who we've covered several times on Trans in the Am, Assistant U.S. Health Secretary and first openly transgender state-confirmed federal official, prompting Twitter to flag the tweets. All of it is adding up, and parents and LGBTQ advocates say they are exhausted. The Reverend Remington Johnson, a Presbyterian clergy member and a trans advocate, said she spends her days texting with the parents of trans kids in Texas and doesn't know of any family who hasn't considered leaving the state. Even if advocates continue to defeat anti-trans bills, and even if the court ultimately shoots down Abbott's directive, they will leave behind a persistent climate of terror, she said. This is why there have been doctors that have just stopped treating trans kids, she said. It's not because there's a law, it's because this is what terror-inducing bills do. It's the same playbook as the bounty hunter-style abortion bill, where it's about causing anxiety and fear to stop the thing that you don't want to be happening. She noted that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has already signaled support for a bill similar to the one recently signed into law by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, the Parental Rights and Education Act, which bars discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in some classrooms. Critics of the bill have dubbed it the Don't Say Gay and Trans Bill. Texas will work to pass what Florida passed, but make it worse, Johnson said. It will be harsher, it will be more extreme. Kay, another Austin mom of a 10-year-old trans daughter, testified against anti-trans bills at the Capitol last year when the legislature held 3 special sessions to pass the trans athlete restriction. She said that once it was over, she and the other advocates planned to take time off to recover and strategize for the next session. But then Paxton and Abbott released their letters 2 months into the new year. Here we see that these 2 extremist politicians circumvented the legal process in order to implement these policies, she said. Kay, who also asked that her full name not be published out of privacy concerns, said that she realized that even though she and the other parents and advocates follow the rules and won, they're still losing. It makes me uncertain that we would be protected even though our kids have not received gender-affirming medical care at this point, she said. And I can't fight offensively when I'm already down on the ground trying to fend people off of my kids. She plans to move her family to Oregon this summer. Parents also expect that the next legislative session, which starts in 2023, will be worse than the last. That's why Heather Crawford, an Austin mom whose 15-year-old is trans, said she plans to move her family to Minnesota this summer. I have zero faith that it will stop, she said. Her 15-year-old, Cass, was born and raised in Texas, but I cannot ask them to spend the last years of their childhood in a state that wants to criminalize their existence. Cass, who uses he and they pronouns, said the idea of moving to a state with a number of pro-LGBTQ laws and was the first to outlaw discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in 1993 is a huge relief. He said Paxton's and Abbott's efforts will put trans people in danger. It's saying that people can get away with transphobia towards everyone in the community, including kids, he said. Yeah, based Minnesota, apparently. Also, Dahlia, I need to go actually get a whole bunch of Adidas stuff. Hanging out with you the other day made me really want a set of Adidas stuff myself, so I'm definitely going to be looking into that. Okay. Yeah, so interesting stuff. It doesn't surprise me really that families are moving away from Texas. This is going to be a very, very, very bad thing here for the Texas government. We're going to see that a lot of these people are going to be moving away. We're going to be seeing that a large portion of families are no longer going to be wanting to live in Texas. And we're going to see, this is going to become a kind of a hellhole for the people who can't move out. That's where my concern is that the trans families that can move are, and good for them, protect yourself for sure. But I worry about the trans people who are stuck there, right? Who can't move, who don't have another option, who have to live there, and now have less of a community than they did before because the people who can move are moving away.